All right, our next speaker, it is Chris Laws, correct? Is that you? Fantastic. Chris is going to talk about the most advanced immersive experiences and in-person events. Interesting. Take it away.
But I totally agree with you that people want a in-person future, a future where we can actually interact with each other in the real world and have human-to-human experiences that are still enhanced and augmented by technology. So I totally agree that that's where the future is heading, and I'd love to talk to you more about that. Our company, The Domes, is in a similar vein. We are creating in-person immersive entertainment venues all over the world. So think about something similar to the Las Vegas Sphere, but mixed with what we just heard about, which is something that is gamified, something that is interactive, something that is experiential. So if you think about kind of the traditional movie theater model where you go to a mall or you go to a location-based entertainment center and you buy a ticket, then you go and you sit down and you watch the show and you passively consume it and then you go home. This can be very enjoyable. I'm not against this. I like watch movies, especially if you're tired at the end of the day. You want to veg out and just sort of be a zombie, be a couch potato for a little bit, enjoy something. That's great. And I think that also can be enhanced through immersive technology. So you can, instead of watching on a small rectangular TV screen, you can watch it in a dome. You can be surrounded by that content and consume it passively. And that can be very enjoyable and a great industry still. But where I think there's a lot of untapped potential is in interactive experiences. So when you go into an environment where you're not only immersed, our domes are obviously immersive because you're surrounded by the material, you're surrounded by that experience, but they're also experiential and interactive. So you can talk to a character in the room, you can walk over to one part of the room, and then using AI, that character can hear your voice through a microphone, transcribe it to text, and then that character in the play of whatever that experience might be can respond back to you. The film that you're watching can have multiple different endings that are generated depending on what you as an audience are doing. And then when you think about that in the perspective of a group audience, what the group audience does and how the group audience interacts with not only the video game characters or the content characters on screen, but also each other. So we get into competitive socializing and shared experiences where the whole thing becomes a communal kind of game. And I think that this is uh, much more engaging, much more thrilling way to experience, a journey instead of just passively consuming a show. You're going on a journey and you're really having that journey. It makes it something where you can actually do it multiple times. You go and watch the same show multiple times because every time is a little bit fresh, a little bit different. And I think for younger audiences that are growing up in the age of tablets and iPhones and now AI, they demand that. They will, as they grow up to become adults and consumers, they want everything to be gamified. They want everything to be interactive and experiential. That's what we're building. We're building the infrastructure, the venues that support that, and we're looking for content partners and game producers to come and utilize these spaces. But my vision as the founder of this company is to really build a large, reliable, affordable, accessible, high quality network of venues that then a content ecosystem can get built around. That then, you know, a whole new industry, both on the consumer side and the producer side, can kind of be fostered by as these venues come online. So that's who I am. That's what we're doing with the domes. I do have a couple of pictures. So this is in Los Angeles. We were the first company in the United States to do a dome this large. Now you have the Sphere in Las Vegas, but before that, we had the Fantasy Dome. We did a 5,000 person experience in Los Angeles. We built the first experiential immersive entertainment dome in Las Vegas pre-COVID. So it's been something we've been on this particular journey for quite a long time. I started the company here in the Bay Area 11 years ago, and we eventually moved the company across the country to Las Vegas and to Austin, Texas, and now we're coming back here to the Bay Area. And our vision was always to do what I'm saying now, which is futuristic, immersive, experiential journey dome experiences. 10 years ago, that was quite a novel concept, so there wasn't much of a demand for it. So what we ended up doing was acquiring technology from a previous planetarium company, repurposing it for entertainment. So we were the first company to do, for example, live streaming of sports experiences into domes. We were the first company to set up and create a dome video game, theme park style video game. We were really in the early stages of all this, and it's very exciting to see now, post COVID, post Sphere, in the middle of the AI boom. this industry that we all love is now becoming institutional grade, is now becoming mainstream enough that there's quite a boom happening. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. This is an example of one of our venues. If anyone's interested to come check us out, it's in St. Petersburg in the Tampa area in Florida. This dome is in the museum district. So this is a Salvador Dali show. The entire outside of the dome is printed with immersive kind of artwork of Salvador Dali's paintings. On the inside of the dome, we took the actual physical painting scans and we converted them into a virtual reality painting cinema experience. So it's self-guided. As you walk along the floor can react and move with you. There's cameras in the ceiling that can tell, where you're pointing your finger. And so you can unlock things. You can imagine kids can go into an immersive rainforest exhibit and point to different animals and plants and have those things react to them or teach them or learn about them. Or you can be in a zombie escape room video game and have a similar experience that's not quite as, unstressful. But the idea is that you create this environment that can become anything, and then you have great content producers create a world where the audience can self-direct themselves and not know what's going to happen next because it depends where you walk in the room, it depends what the group is doing, and ultimately it depends on the people who are creating these stories and these journeys. So this dome, the entire build out cost, we manufacture these things in house ourselves. We don't outsource the construction. It's modular buildings that we pitched the cities ourselves. We built the show. We built the dome. The whole venue cost was less than $2 million. So it returned all of its capital back in less than a year. So compare that to the Sphere, who we love. I mean, we're big Sphere fans. They've really done some amazing shows and work. We wish them great success. Their stock is up. And they've done a great job of educating the world, educating the globe about the power of immersive entertainment. So we're big fans of theirs. But what they're doing, these are multi-billion-dollar venues. I think the Sphere was 3.8 billion to build. So that works in Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, and certain tourism markets. We want to build things that are in every local neighborhood, that are as ubiquitous as a movie theater is. So we want to be hitting, Nashville, Atlanta, Durham, Cleveland, like areas where you may not have that many large scale, high tourism environment, big activation spaces. We want to have these be ubiquitous. And so part of that is making them affordable for kids to come and see shows, affordable for college kids to come and see concerts. And they're also can be used by other people. So a yoga group can come in and do yoga class in these domes. A local convention or conference, such as the one we're in right now, can come in and rent the space out and spend, in essence, what you would already spend to go to a local convention center ballroom, 5, 10, 15 grand to do your event in these venues and provide all the same staging and microphones and lighting and PowerPoint plugins and all the rest, but in a fully immersive event space. So as these become inexpensive enough, then they become no longer just a novelty. You don't just go there once to see it and kind of check it off your bucket list. You go there every weekend because there's always new games playing, there's always new content coming out, and it just happens to be the best venue in town, it just happens to be the best screen to watch this content on. It's not about going to see a dome as a novelty, tourist attraction. It just happens to be the mainstream way to experience the best forms of content. And as AI comes online and creates these new forms of interactive experiential gamified entertainment, my somewhat biased argument is that the domes are the best format to experience that in. A headset is isolating. It is not a social, it is not an out of home entertainment kind of experience. It has a great place, but it's not a replacement for a movie theater in a mall. It's not a replacement for an event center in a city. And any other shaped screen other than a dome doesn't give you that same effect where you kind of forget where you are. So even if you've seen years ago the Van Gogh and those types of kind of warehouse experiences where they would video map on the walls and ceilings of a warehouse, and you'd go and walk through and see Monet and these different great shows. You know where you are. You know you're in a warehouse. You can see the corners. You can see the ceiling. Like your brain realizes where you're at. In a very good dome environment, you can forget where you are. You can kind of trick the brain using parallax imagery and other kinds of gaming visuals. You can create a spatial environment where you think you're in a rectangular room, or you think you're in a pyramid, or you think that you're in a forest, and you can really feel that way. And if you add wind effects and all the rest, you can make that even more so. So as we build these physical structures that are the correct shape, this fully immersive shape with no corners and no edges, so the mind can really feel like it's there, which makes it much less of a passive viewing experience and more of an emotional journey where, things are much more meaningful when the brain believes it's happening and that's opposed to just being viewed and observed. uh, then I think the content that's going to come out in the coming years and the gamification of cinema and all that is going to be very, very exciting. So we are building one here in San Jose. We're building one in Kansas City. We have the one I just mentioned out there in Tampa. Our goal is to put 100 of these venues up over the next 7 years. And we're raising money and we're looking for content partners and all the rest. So I'll stop here and take some questions.
So where in San Jose are you building?
Thank you. Yeah, there's a downtown lot just a few blocks from here, right by San Pedro Square Market, that we're going to be launching the domes in this year. The city of San Jose has been very supportive. I don't know if Doug Moody is still here, but a couple city officials who've been very supportive. A lot of people from the city have been great partners for us, partly because the domes are not only a entertainment space, but they're also a place where the community can gather. They can share local artists. You can empower local entrepreneurs. There can be education and skill training and tourism applications. So we believe that they will bring vibrancy to the downtown. They'll bring economic development, job creation, but also job reskilling in the age of AI. People are going to need to learn new job skill sets that are going to replace the jobs that basically AI is going to be phasing out. So the domes can be a real public good amenity.
Could you give a feeling for the CapEx of the one they're putting in town?
Yeah, so the one that's here in San Jose is a $2.5 million build out. Some of our investors are here at the conference. Mitch, who just spoke earlier, came in on the deal. But yeah, I mean that's part of the goal is to make them very, very fast cash flowing businesses. They cost pretty minimal to build the venue. 2.5 million to build a permanent structure that's also completely video mapped is pretty inexpensive. And so they can return their capital back quite quickly. And we're doing very good deals for the investors to get the first ones out incentivized, and then we're going to scale it out with debt.
Okay. We have time for one more question.
So,
oh, sorry. Okay.
and he asked my first question, so I'll ask the more important one. Yesterday, I got the impression that this would give me the ability to build 3 or 4 of these all over the world so that I can have a distributed company where it feels like everyone is in the same building.
Yeah, that's a great point. So our goal is to, for example, when there is a South by Southwest festival happening, we want to do, South by Southwest 360, for example, and work with the conference organizers to have the main one happening that's maybe happening in person in London and in Denver and in Austin. But then there can be satellite virtual versions of that happening all over the world. And so, whatever fill in the blank film festival or event there might be, you might have that anchor in person event happening in one city. But then there can be sister events happening all over the world in these domes where people are not just passively live streaming having a watch party for the event, but they can be having sister panels and discussions, and people can see and hear each other from dome to dome, and it really becomes a global real-time conversation. And so that's a very powerful, imagine like a bunch of high-end Zoom rooms distributed around the world, and you're doing your events in those kind of environments. Sorry, what was your question?
Just real quick, you mentioned you'd been in business for some time. What's the stage of the company today? Revenue, people, locations, and then real quick, just what's your ask? What are you looking for a raise, and what are the terms?
Yeah, sure. And I'll finish up there. But so I'm the founder and CEO. I started the company here in the Bay Area 11 years ago. As I mentioned, our original vision was to make these venues. I was a filmmaker actually before I started this company. I lived in India 5 years doing documentary films, worked with Discovery Channel, National Geographic, History Channel. And so that was always my dream. But in the beginning, investors did not buy into that vision. So most of our work over the last 11 years has been for corporate brands. We've done 9 Super Bowls. We've done Coachella. I mentioned South by Southwest. We've also done CES and conventions. So it's been a lot of corporate activations where we've have a brand come in and pay us to do something as a one-of-a-kind experience for fans and get their brand out there. So we've done about $33 million worth of invoiced projects over the last 11 years doing that. And that's helped us to build our patents. I'm the inventor of several patents that we use in our technology for multi-projector mapping technology. We have our own manufacturing company. We build these things in-house. And we're using that background, that momentum to try to become market leaders in the space before other companies come online and try to start doing some of the things that we do. We already have that momentum and knowledge base. And then we're also using that to de-risk the investor deals. So for each project, we're actually contributing the domes for free. We're contributing a lot of the assets at no cost to the JV in each city. And then we're giving the investors 100% of the profits, they get their money back out. And then like an 80-20 split after that, there's a real estate waterfall. And there's also a raise happening for the parent company, a $40 million raise happening to the parent company as well. So come find me. I'm happy to talk about the deal terms and the raise details. But we're looking for investors. We're looking for artists. We're looking for people that want to come out and use the space. We're looking for partnerships with nonprofits that want to exhibit and do events with us. So all the above.
Great job, Chris. That's
Thank
one
you.
reason that you got an award during the award
Yes, thank
ceremony
you.
yesterday. This is innovative. Did you say that the first location's by San Pedro Square here?
Yeah, the
In
second
San Jose?
location, but happening here in San Jose is going to be launching this year
Huge.
by San Pedro Supermarket.
Huge.
Yeah, so come check us out.
Okay, great job.
It's called The Domes San Jose, and find us at thedomes.com.
I was shocked by how inexpensive the CapEx was.